y'all. We back again. Yes. Um, Happy Friday Eve for some of y'all. Y'all weekend starts tomorrow. Y'all come on in. Yes, Tawana. Get in here. Get in here. Get in here. In the words of Armand Wiggins. Look, y'all. So we're here for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We are on season 15, episode 2. I don't know if y'all picked up everything that was being put down in this episode. This seemed like a light episode. Y'all know I don't like to use the word filler, especially for episode number 2. This seemed like a light episode, but baby, no. Don't be fooled by what may or may not have been said, okay? Let's get into it. We start this episode off with Rachel, Zoe, and Boze, right? Boze is coming over to her house. She's getting her son ready to go to camp. You know, they're doing all of the camp things. And they, go outside to have a conversation. We get to see Rachel Zoe's house. I'm going to be honest with you. She seems like maybe she's like a minimalist. It was a lot of white, a lot of empty space. Not my thing. It was a beautiful home. Let me be clear. Full stop. Beautiful home. But I don't like empty. Y'all can tell I like color. Like every wall in my house has paint on it. There's only one area in my house where it is white, and that is going up my stairs. But even that, there's a color block on it. It's just white is one of the color blocks. Okay. So all that white, oh my gosh, I would feel so, I don't know. I just feel like a house is to be lived in. But I know some people, one of my really good friends, his house is white and gray. That is it. White and gray. But to each his own, right? So, but it's a beautiful home. Let's be very clear. Beautiful home. So, this was a weird conversation. Because Rachel and Boze were talking. Rachel and Boze, they started off talking about what Rachel had going on and her situation with her divorce and things like that. Because Boze was like, so what do you think about the pictures? And Rachel was like, well, that happened to me. Like my husband, there were pictures of my husband frolicking in the streets with his new girlfriend. Before his kids even knew that he had a girlfriend. And Boze was like, well, was it before y'all were separated? She was like, no, we were separated, but it was very, very early on in the separation. Basically saying, look, because he already had a girl. Yes, he already had somebody. So it was very early on. And the kids didn't even know. And so here you are being stuck outside, getting caught up in these pictures. And your kids didn't even know that you had a girlfriend, right? Boze very quickly shifted away from that, which I feel like was Sweet Pea, thank you. I'm glad you dropped down. Did you do a Google Doc? Did you fill out a Google Doc for, I know you told me you were going to send the money, but did you do a Google Doc for the candles? Because if so, I want to make sure I have you on the list. If you don't, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. I'll drop the link for you. Because I just want to make sure I have you on the list. Okay. But then Boze did this like weird pivot because they were talking about Dorit PK. They were talking about Kyle and Mauricio. And then, in my opinion, and Rachel was cool with that conversation, right? She seemed like she was real cool with that conversation. Okay, because she gets it. She's done reality TV. She knows what it is. So she seemed really comfortable with the whole, okay, yeah, we're going to talk about all the couples and their situation. That's why she brought up her husband, right? Then Boze does this weird pivot into Kyle. And she goes off on this whole tangent about what Kyle isn't telling us and how Kyle is keeping these secrets. And Kyle needs to just go ahead and tell us what it is. She needs to just go ahead and spit it out. Baby, did y'all see how Rachel moonwalked her way right out of that? Did you see how Rachel didn't say nothing? She just let Boze. And then when Boze got done, and she was like, well, what do you think? Baby, you saw how Rachel put them sunglasses on? That was Rachel's way of saying, I ain't in this shit. That was Rachel's way of saying, baby, this don't have nothing to do with me. Nothing. Now, I don't want to keep bringing up the obvious, but we y'all have to talk about the elephant in the room. First of all, we've been talking about this for 3 seasons. I think we know what it is, right? I think that we got this conversation at the end of the episode with Kyle and Erica. We'll get to that. But I think that Kyle was very clear I believe either at last year's reunion, she said, look, the person who I'm dating doesn't want to be in the spotlight. So yes, it is Morgan. I mean, she didn't say that, but I mean, you can read the room. Yeah, it's Morgan, but Morgan doesn't want this. Morgan doesn't want to be in the spotlight. She doesn't want to be talked about. Even though she agreed to film, we're not going to talk about that, but she did film multiple scenes with Kyle, but probably because Kyle asked her to, and because she liked Kyle, right? They were flirting and having this relationship situation, right? But I find it so interesting that last year, when Garcelle was trying to pressure Kyle to say something, it was a problem. It was leave her alone, and why are you now the difference is Boze is stirring the pot and going behind Kyle's back and trying to create a coalition to come at Kyle. Because let's be clear, that's what that conversation with Rachel was. That conversation was, I need to get you on my side, so when I come at Kyle, I got some backup. Which is the mistake that Garcelle made. Garcelle didn't do that, right? Garcelle just jumped out there and was like, Kyle, what the hell is going on? What you doing? Who you dating? Do you like girls? What's going on, Kyle? That's where, and I won't even say it's a mistake, but I'm just saying, I was like, oh, so we doing this? So after all the grief that y'all gave Garcelle about coming at Kyle and her love life and how Kyle snapped back at everybody, including Garcelle, well, mainly Garcelle, you mean we still talking about this? We're still going to make this a storyline. I think Kyle has told us without telling us, look, I'm not comfortable talking about this. One, she ain't comfortable talking about it because she ain't figured it out yet. Let's just be honest. She's still figuring out, am I just attracted to this one woman or am I attracted to women? It sounds like she still wants to try to make things work with Mauricio. So there's that confusion, right? Look, you're right, Brandon. Boze forgot that Rachel is not a rookie. Like, you're not going to manipulate her. She's new to Housewives, but she ain't new to this. Right. Rachel is going to stay loyal to both Richard's sisters. Yeah, listen. Who did Rachel film her first scene with? Kathy. So that already lets you know right there who her loyalty is with. Who her loyalty is with is Kathy. But I just thought that was so interesting. And then with Boze, later on, so I'm like, oh, so this is what we doing, Boze. Okay, you're on the Kyle tell us what it is thing. Cool. Because last year when it was Garcelle, it was a problem. But all right, I see it. Let's go. So the next scene we see Kyle going over to Mauricio's house. Beautiful home. Beautiful house, right? Mauricio done rented himself a house down in the Hollywood Hills. Now, let's be clear about a couple of things. Let's say this. Number one, excuse me. Kyle said, look, Mauricio's out in these streets being a hoe, but I honestly thought that he was just needing to get some things out of his system, and we were going to give him 6 months to sow his royal oats. And at the end of 6 months, we were supposed to sit down. He was renting this high-rise penthouse. And at the end of 6 months, we were supposed to sit down and we were supposed to have a conversation and make a decision. She said, but unbeknownst to me, at the end of that 6-month lease, he went and got this house. Now, let's be clear. Mauricio is a real estate agent. He's in high-end real estate. Him getting a lease on a house is no big. That might be a house he's selling. That might be one of his listings. That could be a really good friend of his weekend house that he's renting for 6 months. Like, I'm not putting a whole lot of stock into Mauricio renting another house. That's what the man does for a living. He probably has access to all sorts of property. However, him renting something without having a conversation with you, it does speak to this being a more permanent thing. And I feel like Kyle is scared to ask and push him because she's scared of what his answer is going to be, right? Because what's clear is that Kyle wants to get back with him. She wants to try to work this out. That's what it sounds like to me. And I also think that's another reason why she doesn't want to put too much out there publicly on her end, because because listen, what we all know and we understand is that men are real cool with dishing, but they can't take it too well. Mauricio was cool with running around town with every, snow bunny from here to Greece. But if Kyle started doing it, that might put them in a place of no return, right? Men can't handle what women put out. I mean, the same what they put out. They can't take what they dish. All right. Kyle needs to let Mauricio go. Kyle Richards did not want to pay alimony. She just on Sherri Shepherd talk show. Kyle wouldn't be paying him no damn alimony. I can't see a world where Kyle would be paying Mauricio alimony. I mean, I know anything can happen in a divorce. I'm sure they don't have a prenup. They've been married for 30 years. They didn't have no money when they got married, so I'm sure there's no prenup there. But honestly, I don't see a world where Kyle pays him. But again, I'm no a divorce attorney, and I'm certainly not, I know California's laws are different, but I don't see that. I could be wrong, but I don't see a world where she pays him alimony. But I didn't see her on Sherri Shepherd, so I don't know what she said on the Sherri Shepherd show. Mo doesn't want to give up his money. That's why they're dragging their feet, in my opinion. Well, that could be it. Because remember, Kyle owns part of this company. The agency is part Kyle's. Remember, they started off, she has her real estate license. Like, I don't know if she's still part owner. Like, I don't know ownership wise. Honestly, I don't. But yeah, it'll definitely, I mean, they've been married for 30 years and they've built a lot of money together. It will definitely be a lot of untangling. And you're right, that might be why they're not moving real quick with it. I don't know. But she was there when he started it. And like I said, at one point she has a real estate license. I mean, I don't know if it's active now, but at one point in time, she was a real estate license. She had her license. So excuse me. So anyway, that was pretty much that conversation. I mean, Mauricio was basically telling her, like, girl, go out and date, because I'm dating. I'm having me a good time. Go do you. And you could tell Kyle was uncomfortable. Now, this next scene, it's very interesting to me. Erica invites Sutton to come to the spa. Now, first of all, we know how this works, right? It's reality TV. We know how these things work. We know that the people have to invite the people to do the different things and they want these scenes or whatever. Sutton, baby girl. Baby, don't be fooled by this. Don't get comfortable. Don't start thinking that you are now in the in crowd. You are not, my love. You are still Carrie being invited to the prom. At any point in time, that bucket of pig blood is going to spill down on top of you, and they're going to be standing in the corner laughing. Please, my love, do not be fooled into thinking that you are now going to be invited to the cool parties. You are not. You are not. Okay? You filmed this scene with Erica, and it was all surface. There was nothing there. Erica is talking about how she hope her husband die before he actually goes to jail, because she don't want him to die in jail. Erica was talking to you about how she don't know if she wants where and how, if she needs to get closure. She was telling you she don't want to visit that man in jail. Erica did not say nothing to you that she didn't say last week to Dorit. Or who was that she talked to? Boze or Dorit? One of them. Ma'am. Baby, but I bet you Sutton was humming all the way home. She probably clicked her heels and skipped as she walked in the door, because she probably just knew that she was invited, that Erica opened up to me. Erica didn't open up to you, girl. Erica didn't say nothing to you that was deep. Erica talked about the same thing we already know, that she's still dealing with legal problems. Like, literally, it was the same conversation she had with Boze last week. It was damn near word for word the conversation she had with Boze last week. So I didn't really take away anything from this scene other than Sutton is setting herself up, thinking that, you know, this about to be something that's not. Okay. I don't know what y'all got from it, but that's all I got from it. So then we have this scene with Dorit. Let me tell you something. People always get him. Let me say this. I have to give a disclosure right now. To all 54 y'all that's in here right now, I have to give a disclosure. I mean, you know what I'm saying. I normally can try and be, even when it's somebody I like or don't like, I can normally take episodes. Y'all know how I try to be fair and impartial. And I really try to take situations episode by episode, and I go from there. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm finding it hard to do this with Dorit. I don't like Dorit. But more than me not liking Dorit, I don't believe nothing Dorit says. I don't trust anything Dorit says. And every time I hear Dorit talk, I guess that's the way some people feel about Stacey on Real Housewives of Potomac, is the way I feel about Dorit. I don't feel like there's anything genuine about Dorit. Not a thing. I don't believe anything. I find everything about her to be fake, phony, and fraudulent. Okay, so I have to say that before I start getting into my Dorit commentary, because throughout this episode, I just found myself being very unsympathetic. And I'm sorry. I know she's going through a divorce. Like, I'm sure it's hard for her. But the first thing that I noticed, and again, it might seem petty to y'all. It might seem like it's not a big deal to y'all, but it's little stuff that lets me know certain things. So number one, Dorit says, we see her fixing water, right? She's making water. I know y'all are saying, really, B, what do you mean she's making water? She's making water, okay? She's cutting up lemons, and she asked her father, do you like lemons in your water? Now, this might seem petty to y'all. I know it seems petty to y'all. But the first thing I thought of was, oh, this is the first time she's doing this. She's doing this for the camera. This is the first time that she's making water for her father. Because how the fuck do you not know whether he like lemon in his water or not? I mean, if this is something you've been doing since he got there, if this is something how you don't know if that man like lemon in his water? So I said, oh, this is the first time you're doing this. Okay, got it. And again, y'all, I know that's petty. I know it is. What's up, Cross Country Cruiser? Hey, boo. I know it is, y'all. But I'm just telling y'all how I feel right now. So she proceeds to sit down and have this conversation with her parents who came out to visit. She's saying that Jagger is having a very rough time with what's going on between her and PK. I believe that. Divorce is hard on kids. Separation is hard on children, right? But let me tell you what I think is making it harder. Jagger is not he's a child, but he's not an infant child, is what I mean. He's 11 years old. He's not stupid. And it sounds to me like you guys are not telling him everything he needs to know. And at 11 years old, he can read the internet. He has friends at school that probably say things. Hell, his teachers might have even said something, not being mean, but a teacher might have maybe made a comment about, who knows? So you have put this young man in a situation where now he is confused. He doesn't have all the facts, and he's feeling maybe iced out, right? Exactly. He knows more than what they think. And so you're leaving him up to his own devices to figure it out. And that's not fair. That's not fair to have this child have to wade through the waters of divorce. Now, oh, that's right. Her kids are homeschooled. Thank you, El Michelle. Thank you, boo. So she says that Jagger has been, he's not the kid that she knows, and he's a shell of himself, and, things just aren't. And so he's going back to Miami with the grandparents to spend the summer, right? Or a couple of weeks, or however it is. We're going to come back around to that when we get to Jennifer Tilly's party, because there's so much with this story, but I'll wait till we get to that so I don't jump ahead too much. Okay. That's pretty much what I got from that scene. So the next scene, we see Kyle taking her daughter to go to her registry, which is at this high-end, top place, I mean, why wouldn't it be, right? Kyle said that basically, she registered there, and all the who's who registers at this place to get registered for the wedding or whatever. So that's what they're doing. It's Gary's of Beverly Hills or something like that. So Sutton shows up to help them with the registry, and the new girl, Amanda, shows up. Not sure how I feel about Miss Amanda, but Amanda was the one that actually bought Kyle's Bel Air home, the one that Sutton was renting, and then Kyle sold it. So she bought that. She wrote some book, How to Be a Rich Bitch or something. I don't know. Never heard of it, but clearly, obviously, it was a bestseller. I don't know. She talks about manifestation and manifesting wealth and whatever. Here's what I love about Beverly Hills, and this is why the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, in my opinion, I don't watch the OC, and I didn't watch the original New York, but out of the franchises that I have watched, this is why the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills are the fucking OGs, right? Baby, Amanda shows up. And why did they put on the screen how much all three of them had Birkins? Why they put on the screen how much all their Birkins cost? Baby, why Amanda had the baby Birkin? Her Birkin was only $18,000. Kyle's Birkin was $34,000. Sutton's was $32,000. I said, oh, they being shady. But let's be clear, Amanda, I can't afford no $18,000 purse, so it doesn't matter that you had the cheap Birkin, because I can't even afford that. But I thought it was some shady shit. And then, girl, then when Sutton started talking, when Kyle was introducing him, and she recognized, she said, are you from Georgia? Sutton said, yeah, Augusta, because she got that accent. Baby, Amanda gonna say, oh, I'm from such and such, Oklahoma. And I think she said it like it was supposed to register something to Sutton. Like, I thought she was going to say, oh, I'm from Augusta too. Or, oh, I have family in Augusta. She going to say, oh, well, I'm from such and such, Oklahoma. Baby, Sutton looked at her. Sutton said, oh, the only thing I know about Oklahoma is that's where we stop to gas up my private plane when I'm flying cross country. She said, the only thing I know about Oklahoma is that's where I land my private plane to refuel. Okay? When I'm flying from the East Coast to the West Coast. That's where we stop. Oklahoma. She said, I don't know nothing about what you talking about. I know that's the only thing I know. I said, see, this is why we tune in to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because that's the type of conversation these people are having. The women are showing up with their Birkins, okay? And we're getting the price drop on the Birkins, okay? That's why we tune in to those housewives, okay? So we found out that Jennifer Tilly's having a party, and so they end up inviting Amanda, to the Jennifer Tilly party. It's Um, 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 I can't even get it out, y'all. Jennifer Tilly's having like a paint and draw party instead of a paint and sip. I mean, a sip and draw party or whatever. So that's pretty much what we're talking about. You know, it wasn't too much more going on there. You know, we just had to meet the new girl. Again, not sure how I feel about you. I'm reserving my opinion. You said it's odd. It's odd before the season premiere. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills only show Rachel Zoe. No, they showed the rest of the ladies, but let's be clear. They're gonna show Rachel Zoe because Rachel Zoe is Bravo royalty. You know, they trying to get all those viewers. They want as many people. They want as many eyes as possible on Rachel Zoe. You know what I mean? So we have this cute scene with Boze and her daughter. It's just girl time. Like, it's nothing deep. It's nothing major. It's just girl time. Now, I will say Boze is talking about that man proposing to her, and she's, you know, checking in with her daughter to make sure you still good with him. We still like him. Everything is everything, which I think that's important. When you're dating and you have children that are old enough to have an opinion, I do think I think it's fair. And even though, you know, Boze ain't my favorite person on the show, I really appreciated that conversation with her daughter. I appreciated the check-in, you know. Listen, her daughter's old enough to feel how she gonna feel about the situation. You know what I mean? So the ladies are getting ready for Jennifer's party. It's supposed to be boho chic. And we got, you know, of course, we got shallow ass Dorit talking about, oh, this is McQueen vintage. This is vintage McQueen. See, I swear I be trying with Dorit, but I can't, y'all. I can't. I can't be impressed about the vintage McQueen. And then in the very next scene, you complaining about PK not paying you nothing and you got to come out your pocket with everything and you don't know where the money is coming from. Anyway, so the lady starts showing up at Jennifer's house, and Jennifer said, listen, the last little party I had didn't go so well. That was when Sutton made her infamous comment about Dorit's wallet not being as big as hers. And, you know, well, I just wasn't sure what was going to happen, you know. So the lady starts showing up. And why Jennifer Tilly going to say it's a stranger infiltrating us, y'all? Because Sutton is bringing a friend. Mind you, wasn't Kyle the one that invited her? I don't know. It doesn't matter. We know what it is. It's Real Housewives. We know what it is. They're introducing the new girl. It doesn't matter who she's coming with. Somebody was gonna bring her. Okay. But I just thought it was funny that Jennifer was like, we got a stranger being, you know, there's a stranger in my house. Okay. Shout out to Tamia. So the ladies all show up in their boho chic of it all. And, you know, we had some great conversations on the front end. The ladies were sipping. They were all showing up. You know, everybody got introduced to everybody. You know, the new girl, that is, I should say, you know, and we went through the whole what boho chic is kind of thing. You know, it was everything. Baby, Jennifer Tilly told Amanda, I like your outfit. It reminds me of the Chanel campaign in the 80s with the motorcycle, in 1985 with the motorcycle jackets. Baby, Amanda said, oh, I was born in 85. Jennifer Tilly said, I'm sorry, what? She said, you were what in 1985? She was like, yeah, that's the year I was born. Baby, Jennifer Tilly said she was struggling to come out the womb, baby, and I was just struggling selling sandwiches down in Beverly Hills, okay? Just trying to pay my bills. So Jennifer says, okay, it's time to go outside. Let's do a little bit of drawing. So the ladies all, you know, assemble, and it looks like they're going to be drawing a bowl of fruit. But then Jennifer brings out the men's, and they open up their robes, and they are naked, and the ladies are drawing the naked men's. Now, let me say something. I'm really glad that everybody rolled with it. Oh, let me rewind. We found out that Amanda has 4 kids. She said 2 of them belong to her soon-to-be husband. She said they're her stepkids. Now, Bo said she had a problem with Amanda referring to those children as hers, but she didn't. She said they were her stepkids. See, this is one of those situations where some people just can't win for losing. Had that woman said, "Oh well, I don't have 4 kids. I only have 2 kids. He has 2 and I have 2, but those aren't my kids." Then they'd be saying, "Oh no, she's going to marry this man. She can't act like that. She can't separate herself from the kids. Those are her kids too. She's married." Like, but because she's claiming the kids now, they only got one mama. I would have a problem with that if that was me. She can't win for losing. The woman said those. Now she did say I have 4 kids, but then when they probed her, she said, "Well, 2 of them are my stepkids, but they're mine." People can't win for losing sometimes. Like, if she had act like those weren't her kids, y'all be when I say y'all, I'm talking about the house. They have a problem with it. Now she's taking ownership and saying, "Hey, those are my kids too." She wrong. I'm like, some people, you just can't make some people happy. But anyway, so after the ladies, so then they're passing out drinks, and Amanda says, "What do you I'll take a mocktail." And Erica is gonna say, "Boo, you can't, you gotta have a drink. Everybody has to drink. I mean, except for Kyle." Why everybody got to drink, Erica? Everybody doesn't have to drink. If that woman don't, like, you don't, again, we've had this conversation before. You don't know that woman's situation. You don't know why she's not drinking. Maybe she's a recovering alcoholic. Maybe she just doesn't fucking drink. Contrary to popular belief, everybody doesn't drink. There are some people who just don't fucking drink. And she was like, and Amanda even said, she said, I drink sometime, but that's not my go-to. I generally don't drink. So, like, who are you to tell me that I gotta have a drink? Now, in that moment, I was like, she a little spicy. Right, El Michelle. That's how Bravo got in trouble before. I said, she a little spicy now. I said, okay, is she gonna be ready? Is she gonna be ready for Erica? They go hibiscus roll. She said, I don't drink. Exactly. And if I invited people to my home, obviously I will offer what I have. But when I entertain, I always make sure that I have water. I always make sure that I have some sort of punch or lemonade or something or tea for people who don't drink. And of course, I have a bar for the people who do. But I always make sure there are alternatives. Because everybody doesn't drink. And even if you do drink, you may not want to drink today. So I thought that was some, but that was Erica and that bullying shit, right? That was that hazing bullying shit. And I love that Amanda was like, yeah, no, who the fuck are you to tell me I got to have a drink? Like, that's not what we're doing. If I don't want to have a drink, I'm not going to have a drink. But I love that everybody went along with it. I feel like Sutton 2 years ago would have probably left, child. 2 years ago, the Sutton 2 years ago would have been like, oh my God, penises. No, I don't want to see him. I don't want him around me. Don't touch me with the penis. Like, I feel like Sutton would have had a whole meltdown 2 years ago. So I love the fact that everybody sort of just went with it and had fun with it and didn't turn it into like a major thing. Like, I appreciated that, right? Now things got spicy afterwards. Rachel Zoe had the best picture. She looked like she could actually draw a little bit, sketch a little bit. So she actually had the best picture, So they go back inside of Jennifer's house to have some more cocktails. And this is where the conversation gets spicy. Boze asked, and this might have been before they went outside, but Boze did ask Kyle about dating again, right? And Kyle, you could tell Kyle is like, I'm just really getting sick of this shit. Like, why does it always have to be a conversation about me and my love life? Then Dorit has a breakdown about PK. Now, Kyle, I don't know if Mauricio told you. I don't know if maybe you and Dorit had a conversation and Dorit told you, they edit stuff out. Maybe Dorit said something that we didn't hear. Or the third option is you still talking to PK, even though you said you're not. Because when Dorit said something about the kids going to Florida, Kyle said, "Oh, is PK back?" Girl, how you know where PK was? Now, we did see you with Mauricio. Maybe we told Mauricio, because that's the other conversation they had. She told Mauricio that Dorit was upset with PK and that felt like Mauricio was the reason why PK out in them streets. And Mauricio said, and let me tell you something. Mauricio said all I needed to know. Mauricio said, I think Dorit has a very different point of view on their current situation than what the reality is. Translation, Dorit tripping. She know what it is. But I've caught that, Kyle. And now again, you could have got that information from a lot of different places, to be fair. But I just thought it was interesting because I was like, girl, how you know where PK was? Mm-hmm. Who you talking to? So here's where Dorit proceeds to have this conversation about PK. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had absolutely no sympathy for Dorit. And that's why I had to give y'all that disclaimer at the beginning. I didn't feel no ways tied about Dorit in this ever-changing story. And I'm going to tell you a lot of reasons why. Reason number one, because your story kept changing, girl. What you said at the beginning is not what you said at the end. At the beginning, you said PK is back in. No, you said that Jagger misses his dad. And the other day, I had to hold him for over an hour because he was upset about missing his father. And the first thing that popped in my head was, did you call PK? And listen, y'all, I understand they're going through this divorce, but again, if we're going to put the kids first, let's put the kids first. If Jagger was so upset about missing his dad that you had to comfort him for over an hour, girl, did you call PK? Did you text PK? Did you FaceTime PK so Jagger could talk to his dad? Did you do any of those things to try and let PK, talk to his son? And again, maybe you did. I didn't hear that part of the story, though. I didn't hear her say, I called PK and he didn't pick up the phone. I called PK and he wouldn't talk to... I didn't hear that part of the story. But okay. But then you said, Jagger was supposed to be going back to Florida with my parents, and PK is trying to block me and stop Jagger from going to Florida. That's what you said at the beginning of your story, that PK was trying to block it. Now, before she finished the story and had changed the story up, let me tell you something. I said to myself, did you make that decision without talking to PK? Because let's be clear, whether PK is there all the time or not, y'all are going through a divorce, and PK has petitioned. You've asked for sole custody. He's petitioned for joint custody. I don't know what the status of all of that was at the time of this taping and when this all happened, but you made a decision for PK's son to be on the other side of the country for an extended period of time. Did you talk to PK about it? Because he had every right to have an issue with it. He had every right to come to, regardless of him being out. Because let's be clear, him traveling isn't new, Dorit. He's been traveling y'all whole marriage. So this isn't a new thing. So when he's in town, he has every right to expect that he's going to see his children. He has every right to expect that he'll be able to spend time with his kids. So if you made a unilateral decision for his son to be in Florida for an extended period of time, he had every right to call his attorney and say, hey, that's not what I want. She didn't talk to me. She made this decision without me. So that was the first thing. When Dorit was telling this story, I was like, I don't see where he wrong. And so, but then her story changed. Then she said, well, he said he wants to go to Florida. He's just going to get a hotel room in Florida. So where's the problem? Because that doesn't sound like he's trying to stop Jagger from going to Florida. That sounds like he's wants to spend time with Jagger in Florida, and so he can see Jagger and his grandparents can spend time with Jagger. If he's going to fly to Florida and stay at a hotel for 2 or 3 days or however long he's planning to be there, again, what's the fucking problem? He's their dad. So Kyle says, mind you, Kyle and Boze were saying the exact same thing. They were like, well, you know, let him meet in the middle, meet him halfway, you know, find a compromise. That's what if you paid attention to what Boze was saying, both of them were saying the same thing. Find a compromise, figure out a way, meet halfway in the middle. Dorit is focused on Kyle. And she starts yelling at Kyle. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's irrational. He's not rational. What do you mean compromise? What do you mean meet him halfway? Are you listening to me? And I'm like, but Boze is literally saying the exact same thing. You just want to have a problem with Kyle. And then Dorit said exactly what I have been thinking. Dorit said, but what about me? Ma'am, this isn't about you. This is about your kids. This is about your kids having a relationship with their father. Baby, this don't have shit to do with you. As a matter of fact, it really don't even affect you because you're going to be in LA. It's really going to affect your parents, to be honest. And at this point, PK can talk to your mom and dad and work out a schedule, because I like what Rachel said. Now, if we're going to get to the flip side of it, let's get to the flip side of it. Rachel said, girl, call his bluff. If he say he want to spend time with those kids in Florida, tell him okay. Call his bluff. Because let's be real. He ain't going to spend more than a couple of days with those kids, and then he going to be off to Central Pay or doing the next thing. Call his bluff. Say, okay, BK. Call my mom and dad. Make some arrangements. Let me know what you guys work out. But see, and again, I didn't see you yell at, and everybody agreed with that. When Rachel said that, everybody agreed with that. I didn't see you yell at another person in there for telling you to let PK see those kids. Everybody said the same fucking thing that Kyle said. Everybody. Not one person in that room said, Dorit, hell no, don't let PK see those kids. You call your lawyer, you fight it. Everybody in that room said the same thing. You didn't have a problem with anybody in that room except for Kyle. And Kyle said, she said, Dorit is just determined to have an issue with me, because it seems that whenever I say something, she takes it wrong. She takes it left. But everybody else can say the exact same thing, and there's no problem. Brandon said, I'm not Kyle's biggest fan, but she's my sympathy having to deal with Dorit. Right. And I feel the same way. Kyle get on my nerves too, but I'm like, that scene was ridiculous. And nobody's going to call Dorit's bluff that she lied, because at the beginning of her story, PK was trying to block the whole damn thing and didn't want the kids to go to Florida at all. But by the end of the story, he not only didn't have an issue with them going to Florida, he was willing to fly to Florida and get a hotel room so he could spend time with the kids. I don't see where PK is wrong in this conversation. And again, I'm not in the middle of their divorce. I don't know how nasty it's gotten. I don't know what they're saying to each other behind closed doors, whatever. But from what you said, I'm listening to your words, Dorit. I don't see what PK is wrong. Especially if you plan those kids' summer without talking to him. Y'all are in the middle of a divorce. You don't have custody yet. Y'all are fighting over custody. He has every right to expect a conversation as it relates to where his kids are going to be for their summer vacation. And here's the thing about Dorit. I feel like, I don't know this to be a fact, but I feel like if you had consulted PK, you would have said in that conversation, I asked PK and he said it was okay, and now he's flipping the script. I talked to PK about it, and we were on the same page. You didn't say any of that. And when somebody called you on it, your response was, but what about me? Girl, this ain't about you. This ain't got shit to do with you. If we gonna call a thing a thing. And Team said, I call my ex-husband's bluff. Right, call his bluff. If he's as inconsistent as you say he is, and if he's as non-interested as you say he is, girl, call his bluff. Say, okay, the kids are going to be, they're leaving on June the 28th. They're going to be there until July the 15th. Listen, you know how to get in touch with my parents. You have their phone number. I'm going to let you guys work something out. If there are any problems, if there's anything you need from me, you let me know. But go ahead and call my mom and my dad. I don't know if they had tickets for Disney. I don't know if they was taking them on a boat ride. Like, I don't know what the plans were. But go ahead and call my parents and y'all work out a schedule. Let me know if you need me. Now, I know I'm on the outside looking in. I don't have no kids and I ain't going through no divorce. But it just seems to me. Right. If he wants to fly to Miami, let him. If he gonna get a hotel room for 3 or 4, because I agree with what Rachel said. Child, he ain't gonna be there but a couple of days. Let that man, especially if he's as inconsistent as you claim he is. But anyway, I've beat that horse. It's dead. This last scene was Erica and Kyle. Now listen, Kyle, baby girl. This was the conversation we needed 2 seasons ago. 2 seasons ago, we needed the conversation of, yes, I am dating, Mauricio is dating, but the person that I'm dating does not want to be a part of this world. They don't want it. And maybe at one point in time, Morgan thought she could handle it, which is why she did film with Kyle. Maybe she thought she could handle it. Maybe she didn't think it was going to be as bad as it ended up being. I don't know. But for whatever reason, she asked Kyle not to mention her, not talk about their relationship. And Kyle has respected that, right? But girl, what you said in this one conversation could have deaded the last 2 seasons. You basically said, listen, yes, I was dating somebody that I cared about a lot, and they were not comfortable with being in this space. And out of respect for them, I didn't mention it. That's it. That's all. It didn't have to be no deeper than that, Kyle. We could have went on to something else. You have let this shit drag on because you played that. I don't know. I don't know what this. Oh my God, girl, you made this worse. She said my ex never did ask for my child to stay with him again. Right. She said that the first episode of last season to Garcelle at Sutton's party. She did. So she did. You're right, El Michelle. She did. But I feel like this was the first time, because Kyle talks like this. In my opinion, I feel like this was the first time she was so succinct in saying what she said without any question. Like, there was no question left of what she was saying and what she meant. There were no misunderstandings. She was very clear. But you're right. She did say, look, because this isn't the first time she said, hey, look, she doesn't want me to talk about it, so I'm trying to respect that, right? I think she's saying more than she said before, simply because they're no longer together. It sounds like they're not seeing each other anymore. So now I feel like maybe she's comfortable saying a little bit more than what she said before. But that was pretty much the episode. I thought it was a good episode because I feel like it's laying the foundation for some things. I hope we're done with Dorit. I mean, not Dorit. I hope we're done with Kyle and her love life, honestly. At least as far as the Morgan of it is concerned. But I don't think so because we saw the preview for next week where Boze brings it up again. Dorit and her divorce. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not saying that PK is perfect because I don't think he is. But Dorit is just so unsympathetic of a person for me. I just cannot. I just cannot with Dorit, y'all. I really be trying, but I can't. According to Dorit on Watch What Happens Live, Kyle breakup plays out during the season. Oh, okay. So maybe So maybe that conversation was laying the foundation for moving further. Okay. Cool. It was a decent episode. Like I said, I don't think it was I wouldn't call it a filler episode because I think we're still laying storylines and groundwork for the season. I thought it was a good episode though. I did. All right, you guys. Let me make sure I said Birkins. Yeah, I said everything I wanted to say. I'm glad that we didn't have to hear Garcelle's name 50,000 times. Okay. I hope we have moved on from the Garcelle of it all. And with that being said, y'all, I'm out. I will see you guys later. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.